Say hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Good enough. Okay. So hello, thank you so much for coming. My name is Della Vedova, and I am a local psychic medium. I'm also identifying myself as a starseed, and I'm coming out. Okay. I do feel as if a lot of you in the room also possibly identify yourself as a light worker, a starseed, or what have you. Anyone want to raise their hand? I'm so excited. I have the chills already because I do believe that we all are called as a collective to come together. And I want to explain a little bit about my definition and my experience with being a starseed. I haven't always been embracing my gifts, let's just say that, okay? So I want to go through a little bit of a testimony of how I got here and how you possibly can too. And I want this to be interactive. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand. We're all in this together. This is how I'm able to even channel and connect myself, is by listening to others and taking in what I can and leave the rest, right? So again, my name's Della Vedova. I'm here locally from Tampa, Florida, but I did grow up in Minnesota. So born and raised in Minnesota. I was born into a Catholic family, like a lot of us. And, I'm not going to go into all of the drama there is with childhood. I had a beautiful childhood. I also had a very dramatic and horrible witnessing divorce and craziness and cheating and alcoholism and yada, yada, yada. The list goes on. And I'm sharing that with you all because I believe a lot of us who are gifted and who are starseeds, light workers, that's part of our plan, is to come in here and have certain childhoods or experiences that weren't so fabulous, because we are here to transmute and to help planet Earth, to help heal planet Earth, and to help heal ourselves and others. And so growing up, I always knew I was connected. I would connect with spirit, and I was always looking up into the sky, looking up into the stars, wanting to go home. I never felt like Earth was my home. And there's people nodding their heads here, but not a lot of people, not everyone feels that way, right? There are people who feel like Earth is their home and they're happy to be here. For me, I feel as if my home is in a different place, okay? But I always was very empathic. So a lot of us are empathic, we're empaths. And I wanted to help other people, and I was extremely sensitive. So that's another trait of being a starseed. You're very, very sensitive. I would get bullied at school, cry over everything. Just a very sensitive, quiet child. But I still wanted to give. So I was like the babysitter on the block. And I felt like children were more connected than adults because they were closer to the other side. It's just, I never felt fully with my tribe, let's just say that. But I always had moments and glimmers of being able to connect with something that is not here on Earth, outside of just the church and what was taught to us in the Catholic. I mean, I do believe that there are some spiritual values that I learned from that, but I always knew that there was more to it, and that God isn't something that's out there that I have to pray to and help, forgive my sins. I just knew that there was something else. And actually, when I would be in church, there were times I would faint. I would faint, and I had out-of-body experiences when I was a child, no one knew what that was. I was just weird. I was a weird kid. Let's just say that. Embrace your weird. So as I got a little bit older, I had a really good neighbor friend that I used to hang out with all the time. And she got ill, she got sick, and ended up passing away at around 7. And I remember going to her funeral and seeing her as like an angel. Oh, I had the chills. As an angel up in the church. It was this beautiful cathedral. And I was like, oh, nice job, dear. Good job. I mean, what? Just ignore it, That's cute. Look at how cute she is. So things like that would happen. And as I got older, the more I tried to express myself, I honestly was shut down. And so I actually filled my cup up with alcohol, materialism, partying. I wasn't a good kid. I mean, I was good at school and everything, but I say that I shut down. I suppressed everything because it was just too much for anyone to handle, too much for me to handle, right? And I spent most of my life living a life that I really knew wasn't who I truly am in my core, but that everyone else wanted me to be, right? What everyone else thought I was. And I think a lot of us struggle with that is okay, how do we share all of these experiences that we have that we know are beautiful gifts, but also live in the 3D world, I call it, that we're living in, and not be, I was called crazy and cuckoo, and, maybe I need to be on some sort of pill. Maybe, all these, I would go to therapists and I'd be like, just tell me what I am. Tell me who I am. And I actually got really lucky because throughout my path, I call them earth angels. So people would show up and they would tell me, hey, it's okay to be psychic. Hey, it's okay that you are the way you are. It's actually beautiful. And I just am so grateful for those people because even though I wasn't ready to fully embrace it at the time, people come into our lives at certain pivotal moments, and whether you know it or not, they're there. And once you get on this spiritual path and you fully are ready, it'll happen real fast for us Starseeds, okay? Real fast. Because for me, I do believe 2020 was a large collective spiritual awakening. A lot of us had to go within. A lot of us had to see, okay, wait, what do I want right now? What is okay with my life right now? And for me, I had moved from Minnesota to Florida during 2020. Didn't know a soul. And my dad had helped me move, which my dad has always been, very, very caring and understood my gift. And he actually had the gift himself. He just was I learned that from him. Just don't tell anyone. Just don't tell anyone. Okay? And he ended up passing away suddenly 2 weeks after I moved to Florida. And so this really helped ignite the spiritual awakening in me. The love and the grief that happened there woke me up because what happened to me is I was like, well, what's the point? Why am I here on earth, honestly? If I can die tomorrow, what's the point? So I overdid it even more with alcohol, with materialism, with drinking and partying and guys and just, I look at her and I'm like, I want to hug her. Because she was trying to find who she really was in her identity, but it was lost in all the coping mechanisms that I was trying to do, okay? And I'm sharing this and I'm open and vulnerable with you all because the more I share this, the more I realize other people have the same story. And it's actually very, very common, especially for us mediums and those who are gifted. It's like we almost have to go through some of these trials and tribulations in life. And, I could go into all the trauma, the drama, the craziness. I think you guys get that, right? It's like we need to go through that in order to transmute, in order to understand, in order to be an empath, in order to grow and to give back. And so people who identify themselves as the Starseeds, from my experience, are ones who will end up having very tough childhoods, have some sort of near-death experience. That can happen. Nowadays, there's also plant medicine that, with the right set and setting, I think that some people can wake up faster with that too. But we're at a stage where I believe the word starseed, the word light worker, the word indigo child means that we either incarnated on other planets outside of Earth. Some of us are hybrids, some of us just have a certain kind of technology that once all that other crap, drama, trauma, drinking, all of that stuff goes away, we're able to channel and connect with our, what they call angels and what they call light beings, extraterrestrial beings who are here to help us and help humanity. And the more open we are to that concept, it feels like the more I get quote unquote online, okay? So as a starseed, I believe that we have a certain technology within our body, within our chakras, within our aura, and we're like a computer, okay? And we need to deprogram some of the stuff that we learned either in this lifetime or past lifetimes. We need to deprogram, and there's plenty of ways to do it. There's no one way to do it, but once we deprogram and we start to understand who we truly are, the essence of who we are, that's when all of a sudden all these gifts start to come online, and it's a wild ride. For me, I do believe that having that rock bottom moment in 2020 with my dad passing away, I believe that connection, as I'm going to get into mediumship a bit here now, that connection helps me understand that there's more, that what I always knew was so true. What I always knew, that when people pass, it's not like, okay, bye, it's over. No, they are still with us and in other realms. And I'll share a story of what I mean here. My dad was pretty funny when he passed because he showed all sorts of crazy signs. One of them was I went back to my home in Minnesota and I was helping clear out some stuff. And I intuitively was like, oh, I'm just going to go, look at this cupboard up here on the top of the fridge. You know those cupboards on top of a fridge? Now I'm 6 feet. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm pretty tall. My dad was 6'10", so of course I'm like, I'm just gonna see what's up here. I think I was looking for a vase or something. And I put my hand up and I pull this mug out. And the mug is a mug that I made when it said 1997. And it said, I love you, Daddy, I love you, Sarah. And it was a mug I made for him. Now, I think that was another sign that he was trying to show me. Oh, because it was right after he passed. For me to pick that up out of nowhere, those were the little light bulb moments that started to come on. Now at that point, I was just, grieving, going through the process. It was kind of weird because it was constantly the lights would be flickering. I would get random phone calls. I mean, it was constant. And so I tried to shut it down like I always did. And when I do that, I tend to go into depression mode, don't want to be here, that kind of thing. And I ended up actually I was called to go do Reiki. So I had always been mingling into this kind of stuff. I would come to these fairs. I would sit where you're sitting. I remember I took a class with Cindy Dale back in Minnesota. If you guys know Cindy Dale, she's all about the chakras. And I would do all this stuff behind closed doors, right? Because I had all this program that needed to get out of there. And when I went to do Reiki, it's like I was ready to start coming back online more. I became a Reiki master, and when we were being attuned, I could see how the energy, when my third eye could see how we're able to connect ourselves, everyone around us, and the whole collective as one. When we're attuned like this, the energy actually does do that. And I could see it with my third eye, and I remember I was asking other students, like, do you see that too? And everyone's so unique, you know, so not everyone saw that. Some people felt something, all of that. So that really helped open my eyes. I do believe that a lot of people are Reiki. They either do Reiki 1, 2, or a master, and I do believe that it helps to clear out some of this energy that we're holding on to, the programming. So I do suggest that as a process, when you're going on your enlightening path, or some sort of energy, understanding energy more and how that works, because it really helps me. And so I went to a chiropractor, and I said, hey, you know, can I do Reiki here? I just walked in there. I had quit my corporate job. I was in software sales most of my life, working for the Fortune 500 all the way to, startups. And I was good at what I did, but I didn't really like it. It wasn't me at all. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to quit, and I'm going to do Reiki. And so I did. I ended up going to a chiropractor, and I was just kind of called to go in somewhere, and it happened to be the right person. And she's like, yeah, sounds good. Okay. So she didn't even charge me for the area. It was like a 20%, you know, whatever. So long story short, I did some Reiki. And when I was doing these sessions with people, they all had such beautiful experiences. Like one I'd love to share is, someone had their mother visit them while we were channeling the Reiki. So I didn't say anything, but she saw it, right? So I believe that as Starseeds, we're helping to help other people get online and help their gifts get online. Because one person had that experience, another person saw colors, another person had a beautiful emotional release, another person, like mid-Reiki session, started doing all these crazy yoga poses. So it's like, so cool, right? I'm like, this is cool. You know, like, I love this. But, you know, my ego and my stubborn side and the matrix got back to me. And so I went back into the corporate world after that. I was like, you know what? I can't even pay my rent, first of all. So it was a beautiful experience. But I went back into the corporate world, but it was a whole other way of seeing the corporate world for me. And I brought in my energy healing techniques into working as an account executive, and people were kind of freaked out because I, within the first week, had sold a really big deal, right? And they're like, how did you know that? How did you do that? I'm like, I knew that there was more to it than just, beginner's luck, I mean, there's a lot more to these beautiful gifts that we have. And I out of the blue just said, I do Reiki. And to me, that was big. Coming from Minnesota, Catholic upbringing, and I'm going to remind you guys again, because a lot of you are like, so what? But for me, that was like, whew. And so they're like, cool. Okay. That's actually kind of cool. I'm like, oh, I should have done this a lot earlier. You know what I mean? I mean, the things that we say to ourselves to stop ourselves from these beautiful, beautiful gifts. So, long story short, I was getting the knock from Spirit more and more, and I had a night at home where I was reading the book, The Body Keeps the Score. You guys know that book? Okay. And I was doing an Audible, by the way. I don't actually read these days. I'm just Audible. And I couldn't stop the book. It was just going on like all day. And my body started to shake. I had all these pent up emotions. I was crying for, I don't know, 6 hours straight. I mean, it was like this out of body, in body, kundalini awakening is what it was, okay? I didn't know what it was at the time. I just kept on saying, God, help me, God. I think I was speaking to Jesus. I'm like, whatever's out there, help me. Because I knew that this was coming all out for a reason. But the way that our world is, it's like suppress, don't show your emotions. It's getting better now, but the way I grew up, it was like, you know, if you saw me, you'd be like, whoa, what's going on there, you know? And so I believe and I know now that was a kundalini awakening. So for those of you who don't know what a kundalini awakening is, it's another saying for like the Holy Spirit within woke up, okay? And it's what I believe as well as a starseed. It's like this technology of the body woke up, and it's connected to the bottom of your spine, and it's like this beautiful snake energy. Now people call it different things, so whatever resonates with you, just trust it, okay? Because it is something that is divine, it is something that's beautiful, and it's almost like an initiation to be able to really develop these gifts. So that's when I really tapped into chakras. I'm like, okay, chakras aren't just oh, cool, these different colors are associated with the chakra, cool. You know, I actually could feel each chakra being cleansed out, and I had visions and images of what was being cleansed out with each chakra, and I just let it all flow. It was almost like my family, the other starseeds, extraterrestrials, God, came down and they were working on my body. I truly believe that. It was like I just let it happen, and it looked like some sci-fi movie, because my hands were moving like this. I mean, it was wild, you guys. It was wild, okay? It was a party with me and all the extraterrestrials and all. It was good time, okay? So when that all happened, I felt so much better the next day. I did. I was like, something happened here. And so luckily I was working with a therapist that someone had referred me to. I wonder why. I'm like walking around being like, what's going on? She actually ended up being a Reiki master as well and resonated with starseeds as well. So I didn't know that, you know, when I saw her. So she really helps me understand that this is a good thing, okay? This is actually a gift. And a lot of shamanic practices and, as you know, spiritual practices do believe that it's okay to feel all this stuff. You know, to get to the love and light, you gotta feel and get all this stuff out. And so it's been a process with that. But I was able to call in and bring through people on this side and the other side who really helps me through that process and understand what is a kundalini awakening. And all of a sudden I'm going on YouTube and I'm looking on Instagram and I'm like, well, that's what I did. Okay, cool. I found people who are like me. And I think that's what's so beautiful about the world that we live in right now. If we use technology to our advantage, I do believe that we are being led. When we Google things, when we're on TikTok, when we're on these things, we're being led to understand and discover our spirituality. And this collective awakening that happened in 2020, it's happening all the time, right? But my story is more that it happened in 2020, and this is what's happening now. So I wanted to just explain more. We were talking about the mediumship that came through, then the Kundalini experience came through. I'm now doing Reiki for other people, but still in the matrix, going back and forth. And when I say matrix, to me, it's like shutting it all down. So what happened after the Kundalini experience? I found someone on TikTok, and she called herself a Starseed. And I had been connecting with the name Starseed, and I actually came to one of these events. If you guys know Judy Weaver, by any chance, she also connected with me, and she said, Starseed. And that was right after I had connected with Starseed. So long story short, I found someone on TikTok. I resonated with her. She literally was going through her kundalini experience, but was bold enough to show it all off. I'm like, well, I would never, you know. At that point, again, a lot of this is inside. I'm not sharing it. And she happened to be in Florida. Didn't know that. And she happened to have a workshop. It was like a 2-day workshop calling all starseeds. And I'm like, all right, I have nothing to lose. I'm going to do this. So I drove over with strangers, spent the night for 2 days, and they weren't strangers. They were my family, other starseeds. So I'm sharing that because it's so easy for us to change our reality and to connect and to keep growing. And the reason why it's so easy, it's because our collective consciousness is making it so much more easy. And for me to just go on TikTok and trust that intuition and go hang out with some people, I got lucky, okay? And I was called to be there, and we all shared our beautiful gifts with each other. It's almost like I would look at them and I could just see myself, like their mannerisms were very similar to mine, and the way they looked. Very cool. And so after that experience, I continued to go down the road of exploring my gifts, and I was more open to do Reiki for other people. I can share I like to share stories in between all of this. So a very cool story was someone who came to me, and she had a brain aneurysm, a stroke on her left side. She couldn't use her arm, and we did a Reiki healing on her, and she could move her arm. She was starting to go like this during the session. And so I was like, I have got to keep doing this. You know what I mean? I just knew that I had to keep doing this because it was helping other people. And gosh, I want to get to the mediumship part, but I also want to stop here because I feel like I've been talking a lot. How are you guys feeling? How are you resonating with this story? Does anyone relate? Yes. Okay. Beautiful. I'm so glad you're here. Keep going. That's my message. Keep going. Keep exploring. Stay curious. Because I would have never thought I'd be standing here right now as a psychic medium, calling myself a starseed to people, and doing this as a profession. And so I am now, the fact that I even said psychic medium, I changed my Facebook to psychic medium. I mean, it was like coming out. I was coming out as a psychic medium, and the response was very funny. Very funny. But I've done over 3,000 readings at this point. And that's from this one algorithm thing that shows you how many you've done. It's like, whoa. There's no question that mediumship, psychic abilities, kundalini awakenings, becoming a starseed, all of this is real, and in reality, science is picking up on it all. Another story I can share with the mediumship, now that came through because I was called to do this clairvoyant class. Do you guys watch Gaia Network? Yeah. So Gaia Network is actually a beautiful network. It's a network like MTV, or a network like Bravo. Sorry, I love my Bravo still. I saw someone on there called Dr. Lawrence Celio, and I was very called to him, his energy, and he was teaching classes on how to be psychic. He's like, Yeah, I was a software engineer and I was at Whole Foods and I saw, hanging out on a bulletin that there was some psychic classes and I thought, okay, I'm going to try that. And he is now a very, very international psychic medium and he helps teach other people. So this is something that can be learned and relearned. It's not so much that you're, like for me, in my experience, I was born with the gift, suppressed it, and then it came back online, but anyone can do these things that I do. And I just want to empower people because he definitely helps me understand the tools of how to really tune in these beautiful gifts that we have. So there's all the clairs that we have, right? I am predominantly clairvoyant. And what does that mean? It means that it's like a movie up there in my brain. And I'm tapped into my imagination when I do readings. And I see images and I see people who come through from the other side. And I see scenes and whatever I need to see, it shows up. So that's what clairvoyant is. And I learned that means I'm clairvoyant. I used to always say, isn't that my imagination? Right? It's just my imagination. I don't know what you're talking about. But the more I did readings for people and I said, I had a client and I'm like, yeah, I see you in a helicopter in my third eye. This is during a reading. No idea who this person is, by the way. Okay. I see you in a helicopter and you're actually the pilot of the helicopter and you're over a house right now. And I'm seeing this right now. And he goes, yeah, I'm an emergency helicopter pilot. Okay, cool. Right? I mean, I am just as surprised as you all are when I do readings for people because I don't know what's going to come through. I just know that it's exactly what they need to validate that this is real, guys. Okay, because there's a lot of charlatans out there that are not real. I'm sorry, it kind of pisses me off a little bit. They're not real. They try to take your money, say that they have curses and all that jazz that you need to cut out. Sorry. You need to cut out all these curses for $2,000 and then you'll be okay. That kind of stuff. I'm sorry, and maybe some people do believe in that. I honor that. But for me, I don't believe in that. And so I think a lot of people are scared of me. They're scared of my abilities. They're scared of what I do. And I just say that this all comes from benevolent beings and positivity and good. I have had experiences where when I was doing these classes with Dr. Lauren Celio, we were able to go in breakout rooms and practice and do readings on each other. And that's when my mediumship really came in because I was doing a reading with someone whose husband had passed away, unfortunately, and he was knocking on my door, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I gotta just share this. Let me know if it resonates, but I gotta share this. And she's like, sure. I said, I think your husband is on the other side, and he's trying to talk to you. And she goes, yeah, my husband passed. And I said, he's wearing this button-down shirt, and it's like striped, and he's got this dog with him that's really big. A really big dog. I'm not good with breeds, I'm working on it, okay. A really big dog, and she goes, yes, I have that shirt. That's a special shirt that she still has of his, and that was one of their favorite dogs that passed away. And so that was my first experience really outside of friends and family and throwing things out there into the universe, but really honoring this beautiful gift that I was ready to pop online. So if we go into my journey, it started with Reiki, and people are having these beautiful healing experiences. My kundalini gets activated, and I start healing myself a little bit more to be ready for this. Dr. Celio comes into my world. He helps me with the psychic abilities. And then all of a sudden, I'm adding mediumship to what I do. Okay? See how this is a beautiful spiritual process with divine beings. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this to say, I believe starseeds specifically, light workers, people who aren't technically feeling like they're from the earth, it's very fast that this happens. Because once we say we're ready, they are so excited. They are so excited. They want to share these beautiful messages with loved ones. They want to share how we can heal ourselves and heal others through the technology of our body. That there's nothing to be afraid of, that there's nothing to fear. That yeah, the earth plane is a little cuckoo, okay? But it's also absolutely beautiful too. And in a short amount of time, I started to go ahead and get the guts up to be able to provide services and take this professionally. So at this point in my career, I'm saying this I'm so happy to say this is my career, and this can be your career too. This is something that I've been called to do, and I'm so happy that I'm here standing here, and that, you know, old Sarah, who hit her rock bottom, didn't know anything about any of this stuff or want to know anything about this stuff, is now standing here helping people. That's what I wanted to share with you all, that it's not like it just happens. But when you're ready and you're open, it happens very fast. And a lot of us here today are going through this in one way or another. And you're being called to show up and share your gifts. Whether it be in a setting like this or with a stranger, you are a light worker, okay? You are meant to be a light worker. And keep shining your light. Keep at it. Because there's going to be more of us. There's going to be more popping online. And more people who are going to be surrounding you, and a collective of people who are going to be embracing you. And it is the most beautiful experience anyone can experience ever, okay? In my opinion. So, I'm going to stop there. Any questions? Yes.
How do you know you're a starseed? Like, you said you have similarities with taller. What about hybrids? Like, if you say you're starseed, does that mean you're 100% extraterrestrial?
Right.
No.
That's a really good question. Okay, so what she asked, and what was your name? Mary. Okay. So what Mary asked is, how do you know exactly that you're a starseed? Are there certain traits, looks, personality traits? Like, how do you know? Are you a hybrid? Are you this? Are you that? And I do believe that this is an answer. Everyone explores and understands it individually. The way I found out I was a starseed is there's actually, believe it or not, quizzes online. Google which starseed am I, right? Now, I didn't get into the schematics of it because there are so many different kinds out there. But if you heard Pleiadian, right? There's Arcturic, there's Arcturians, there's Syrians. You know, there's all sorts of different versions of what people say they're a starseed. And for me, when I went to go connect with other starseeds, we just call each other starseeds, but we were connected to all these different extraterrestrials. So some people could see like more bluer figures, other people saw more like of a lion figure. A lot of us, like I said, we grow up and we want to go home, first of all. And it's not necessarily heaven, it's like we know that there's something outside of here. And we want to go home, okay? And home is not with our family. For me, I was a black sheep. I was And so that's another sign that you're a starseed. Another sign would be you're extra sensitive and an empath. So you call yourself an empath, extra sensitive. A lot of us are very soft-spoken. You don't have to be. But a lot of us are very, like, there's feminine traits and soft-spoken. And for me, yes, I'm very tall. But it was almost like I could see it in their eyes. Like we had this thing in our eyes where we could like see each other. We knew. If you look up, starseed, light worker, I would highly suggest doing your own research, because what you Google, what you look at, what you experience is going to be exactly what you need to experience to really identify yourself as one. But guess what? If you're here, you are one, okay? I mean, everyone has the capacity to be a starseed. It's almost like an innate, beautiful birthright to tap into that starseed version of ourselves. I also believe in reincarnation. I believe that many of us have lived many lives on Earth, but us starseeds have also lived many lives on different planets as different beings. And if you resonate with that, I do too. And I want to explore that more. And so I'm going to connect with other people who also feel that way and see if we align. I also highly suggest Kryon, Kryon. He has a beautiful channeled message, Kryon, and you can do YouTube. I came across this and I was like, woo, so exciting. But it's called The Light Worker's Handbook. And that explains quite a lot of why we're here, why we feel the way we do, and you will be called to share this message with others, just like how I am. A Midwest girl from Minnesota, grew up Catholic, account executive, partying my way through life, and now in this realm. I do believe I completely shifted to a different realm. I mean, it may sound a little cuckoo, but not to the people who need to hear it. It's like shifting from 3D to 5D. And so hopefully that helps answer your question.
What I was wondering is, can starseed be a hybrid?
Yes.
Is that a whole different type?
I do believe that starseeds can be a hybrid of different types of starseeds.
Like
So,
the places that you went to?
yeah, different places. It's almost like, so how, I'll explain it like I would a past life, okay? How people they come into this life and they're like born prodigies, right? They're like amazing pianists. Or, they know 3 different languages and, they've never been to that country before. That is very, very similar. That's a past life that they brought into this life, okay? And that is very similar to starseeds. So it's a knowing, it's a technology of the body, and it's just like that. Only it's easier for us to access the starseed type more than it has been in the past, I believe. Okay? The word starseed, I think, is in a way newer. At least to me it is. And I do believe that more and more people are coming online and identifying themselves as that because they possibly had a past life as a starseed. And that's what they're bringing here on Earth. They're being called to bring in that technology on Earth so that they can help others heal. And they can show people how they heal themselves as well. So it's like an upgraded technology of our being. Just like how technology is shifting. Remember when there wasn't Wi-Fi not that long ago, right? And things are technology is growing and shifting, and that's very similar to us as human beings. We're growing, we're shifting, we have access to more. I do believe that we always had this access, but we just have more I think that they're ready to share more with us, basically. They're like, okay, we got to help them out down there. And in the past, I think a lot of the times people would say angels. And I do believe in angels. There's Archangel Michael that always comes into my readings. There's Archangel Raphael. But it's almost like starseeds are angels. Okay, think of it that way. And there's different types now that we're able to identify, we're able to channel, we're able to understand. And it just is a knowing. It's a knowing. Okay? So yes, you can have a little bit of everything and tap into a little bit of everything. And it's possible. Okay? Yes, thank you. Any other questions? Comments? Anyone identifying? Yeah.
I apologize. Do you know Bashar?
Oh my gosh, Bashar! Yes. Do I know Bashar? I wish I knew him in person. The way I said that, right?
Yeah. No, I knew what you meant.
Yeah. So Bashar, I love Bashar. Yeah. So Bashar is also, he's a channeler. So Bashar isn't actually the man's name.
He's still and
Daryl?
on YouTube.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yes. So Bashar is a channeler. So it's a B-A-S-H-E-R. Or sorry, B-A-S-H-A-R, Bashar. And I identify with him because when he channels, he closes his eyes and he moves his hands around, and that's how I am with a reading. But he's connecting with extraterrestrial beings that are ready to share these messages with us. And the way that he does it all, it's like, okay, clearly this is something else outside of who he is. And when I'm in a reading phase and a channeling phase, and I'm doing readings, it's very much like that. And I feel like I'm connected to other beings out there who are benevolent beings that really want to help us. So Bashar is another beautiful person, or Bashar is being channeled by a beautiful person who's embraced these gifts. You can find him on YouTube as well. And I did have my card down here for everyone. If you have any questions, want more resources, are starting to feel some of these feelings that I felt, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am here local. I am doing readings through Zoom or in person. I like to do psychic parties is what I call it, where I'm able to, channel and connect with the divine through my mediumship and help people. And what else? I know that there's one more thing. If anything that you want to, take with you today, I know it was a lot out there. Just know that based off of my experience and some of the things that I've been through, you can do it too. And if you feel called to do some of the work that I'm doing, or you want to help other people, please try it out. Try with friends and family first, that's fine. Try with whoever you need to, but so the ones that are open to it, right? But please do it. We need more. We need more. We need more of you. We need more light workers. We need more people popping online and coming out as starseeds. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble. Blessings to everyone. Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah, you told my story.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay.